Everybody, what's going on? Just starting a live stream as I go run a couple of errands and trying to point something out here real quick. Oh yeah, there we go. Guy checking his tires. So I've never seen this car right here. This guy, as I'm leaving my house, every time I leave the house, some kind of vehicle that I've never seen in my life pulls up, and they just park there and they leave their lights on. It's just part of the stalking. And they just do weird things where when you explain what these weird things are that these people do, you sound crazy because you've never been. If you've never been through this, it would sound insane. Why would these people do this? Who would have the time and effort to? Well, the people that control all of your tax money, that know that you're a slave and don't want you to speak out about being a slave. When you start telling the other slaves what's going on. So I just looped around. Notice that the guy that was just parked there isn't there anymore. He pulled up the second I walked out of my house, waited for me to leave, walked around his car, tapped on the tires like this, each one of them, at the exact moment that I left the house. And that's just something they do. There's been I've lost track of how many little hints that they've given over the last like 2 weeks. Let's see, why is my battery low? That's interesting. Yeah, I'll try to wipe that off. There, is that better? This is kind of interesting here. It says that my battery's not charging. I'm gonna loop back around and get my other charger because this thing is not charging. What's up, dudes? Yeah, starting off kind of slow, just keeping an eye on a couple things while I'm leaving the house. So that guy in there pulled up as I was loading stuff in my truck, go drop off at the post office, stood there behind his car and waited till I left. Like I said, got out, made sure he tapped each one of his tires. Who does that? Just goes out to their car, taps their tires. Is that how you check it? Yeah, there's air in it. Alright, I'm just gonna go get this other charger real quick. Be right back. Not the place I look at. We'll just wait for a few more people to show up here. Stay right there, Will. All right, let's see if this one works. I have some comment on here. Somebody just said the lab rat knows too much. I'm not a lab rat. So here's the orkin bug guy. What's up, orkin bug guy? No, don't bark at that guy. Good boy. All right, so what's going on in the news? Got 20 people here now. What's going on in the news? The FISA, the Inspector General report on FISA has not been released yet. There's this this independent film that a guy named Aaron Gibson like the guitar, made. He lived in Oklahoma City, hung out in Norman a lot. He would come to my art studio when we had an art walk, and I liked him. He was a nice guy. Talked to that guy a lot, had good conversations with him. He was friends with Rick Sennett, pretty famous artist out of Oklahoma City that paints huge murals on the sides of buildings and like grain towers, stuff like that in Oklahoma. So anyway, Aaron was an independent filmmaker. He would shoot film with 16mm film. Hey FedEx. It happens to be where one of the places I'm going today. So this guy's got an IAFF, International Association of Firefighter sticker on the back of his truck. So anyway, Aaron Gibson makes independent films, and he made this film about a soldier that was sent on a mission out in the middle of nowhere. He was all by himself, isolated in a room, and his job was to wait for orders to do something. And he's in this room by himself, waiting on orders. He'd check in with headquarters. They tell him, now isn't the time. Time isn't right. Keep awaiting orders. Keep awaiting orders. He's like, okay. Stays ready. He's starting to get cabin fever. They keep telling him, orders are coming. Orders are coming. He's just sitting there waiting. After a while, he starts to get traumatized, starts to get delusional. He feels like he's going to be there forever and nothing's ever going to happen. And a spoiler alert, because you're probably not going to watch this. I think it's called The Good Soldier. I can't remember. If you look it up, Aaron Gibson, Oklahoma City, independent filmmaker, you'll probably be able to find it. Turns out they're running a psychological operation on him to see how long he will sit there and do nothing and wait for orders. He signed up to serve his country, and they pulled a psyop on him. And their goal was just to see how long it would take before the guy went crazy and just left. And I'm almost starting to feel like that's what's going on with this FISA report. That it feels that way. I still have some hope that this is going to get released, but how long do we have to wait and go through this? Some of us are going through things that other people aren't. They might not understand why some of us are so impatient. And don't get the reason why we're wanting this to happen like right now. Well, because we keep getting told the report's coming out, the report's coming out, deep state's going down. I know, Willis. FISA report will be released, indictments are going to happen, arrests will be made, and not one person has been indicted, not one arrest has been made. We just keep getting told it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Trust the plan. I see that a lot of progress has been made. I'm not saying nothing has happened. I understand that things in the military, things in the government take a long time to happen. It's like the ocean changing temperature. It takes a long time to happen. But I mean, come on already. So we're waiting for the FISA report to drop. Last I heard, it was Friday that it was supposed to come out. Didn't come out on Friday. It's Monday. Haven't heard a word about it. Joe M., who created the plan to save the world, QAnon video, he has left Twitter indefinitely. Jeffrey Peterson, who's a billionaire software engineer, creator, got targeted, ended up moving south of the border, not to Mexico. He couldn't go to Mexico either because who he was calling out were operating here in the United States and in Mexico, the Arizona Mafia. So he had to go somewhere else. He's leaving Twitter too. He said he's been asked to do something else. So they're leaving, not saying exactly what they're doing. Joe M. basically is leaving to live out his life, and I'd like to do the same thing, actually. That'd be great. Hopefully Jeffrey Peterson was asked to do something for Trump. I'm just turning this around because things are getting kind of weird. Around here, some lady in plain street clothes running down the street carrying book, shampoo or something. So those guys are leaving Twitter. They say they have everything they need. Here's Goodyear PD hanging out in Avondale. Let's see, he's pulling behind me, coming up to a 15-mile-per-hour zone. Let's see, I'll make sure. Well, we're on the topic of Goodyear. The Goodyear PD chief, who makes $187,000 a year, has been suspended. He's been put on administrative, along with a few of the other people in his department. And I can't decipher if, well, I know Goodyear PD is involved in organized stalking and harassment. Maybe not every single one of them, but I've seen it happen. And I can't figure out if he was saying, no, I'm not going to be involved in these programs anymore, or if he was involved and he was actually fired and being investigated for that. It's hard to say. They didn't give a very good reason. I can't remember the word that they used, why he was removed. So I'm driving with a trailer, 8-foot by 20-foot trailer, so I'm not checking my messages, checking the comments, just trying to think about what's going on, focus on that. For some reason, I've had a really tough time sleeping this week. I've been having terrible nightmares all week. I usually wake up pretty early in the morning, get my day started. It's been tough doing that. Staying up late working, but the nightmares have been ridiculous, and they don't seem normal. I'll just say that. Some of you that are listening understand exactly what I'm talking about. I have to be pretty careful how I explain things and what I say. I've got a lot of important stuff coming up, and certain things can be used against me. A couple of the dreams were good, positive outcomes, but a lot of them were not. So anyway, I've had a tough time sleeping, so I've just been staying up late, getting all my work done, getting as much done as possible. And actually somebody had, a friend on Twitter, fellow TI, recommended that I start doing videos that aren't focused on targeting. And my goal basically from the beginning of this was to document my personal experience as much as possible to show the timing and repetition, standard operating procedures of what a targeted individual, and that there's no short way to do it. So my videos are about me, my personal experience. To document this kind of thing, you need to go into depth and show a lot of little details, explain a lot of little details, over a long period of time. And that's been my goal. And now that was a good idea, actually, that guy had. His name on Twitter is Sailing Awakened. If you're watching, how you doing, man? Hold on here. Dropping the trailer off. But with the amount of hours that I put in just to keep up in life, pay my rent, pay the bills, gas in the truck, all that, I don't have much time left over to research details, to vet my commentary, find screenshots, use clips, and back this thing up a little bit. That'll work. Not sure what type of dog Willis is. Possibly Basenji. He's a rescue brand. Ooh, need to back that up more. Thought I was good. What type of dog are you, Willie? I was at the 40th Street swap meet, and a guy stopped me and said, "Hey, did you get a dog in Africa?" I was like, "No, I've never been to Africa." He said, "Yeah, I go to Africa all the time, and I see dogs like that on the street all the time." Basenjis are from the Congo. Man, this reception's really bad. What cell am I with? Should I even say that? I don't know. Does it matter? Oh, somebody here says your videos making hats were cool. I don't make them. I just sell them. It's gonna be. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Get in the truck. Good dog. All right. Approved about 5 miles a gallon there. Am I buffering? Okay. A couple of videos I talked about how Willis and I got attacked at the dog. Well, he got attacked. I jumped in the middle of it. And the dog had him by his face. It happened so quick, and I reacted so quick, I didn't realize the dog had grabbed him by the chest. My hand's healing. And that dog had bit like his chest muscle. I don't think it tore the chest muscle, but it pulled the skin away from the tissue inside, the muscle tissue. And he developed what's called a hematoma. I have some personal experiences with hematomas. A lot of skateboards get some elbow, and it's basically when you just tear the skin away from whatever's underneath, the bone, the muscle tissue, and it causes a void in between those two, and it fills up with fluid, and it gets real big. It gets like squishy kind of sack because of all the fluids in there. A lot of kids, when they're born, they'll get them on from going through the birthing canal, and they'll just have like a big soft bubble on their head when they're born. And that's a hematoma. Willis had a giant hematoma on his chest. It looked like he was a bodybuilder. And we didn't realize right away. A couple days later, it just swelled up ridiculously huge. And thankfully, I realized what it was immediately because I've had them on my elbows. My son had it when he was born. And so, it wasn't too big of a deal. I realized, oh yeah, those go away. What I didn't realize was he had a couple holes in his chest from the dog biting him. And after the hematoma got big enough, it burst, and the fluid started coming through those holes. Sorry if I'm grossing anybody out. This is just what happened. The fluid started coming out of those holes. So I helped him get some pressure on it, squeeze the rest of the fluid out of there, and it's hardening up like you do. It's just part of what happens when you get swelbo when you're a skater. If you have it drained, the fluid in there kind of hardens, and actually makes it more tough. You've got like a protective shield on there after that. Chest plate now, so that's healing up. He's got still some decent sized holes in his chest, but he's pretty damn tough. The hole in my hand's healing up pretty good. I don't know if you can just, yeah, it's the lights too, whatever. No big deal, but So there's such thing as coincidence. Every time I say that, anyone that's a targeted individual that goes through this, they usually reply, "There's no such thing as a coincidence when you're a targeted individual." I disagree. Things still happen. Coincidences happen. Life happens. Rock flies up, hits your windshield. Just, I should name off a bunch of stuff because then they'll probably do some of that stuff to some of you guys. Make you think I'm involved or something. They do that shit all the time. And life happens, but just not at the rate that things happen when you're a targeted individual. And I really think that one of the big reasons they're fighting so hard to keep this FISA report from being released is because all of our names are on there. And when the public finds out what their tax money's been going into, not the ones that are doing this, but regular everyday taxpayers. All right, let's do this. All right, here we go. Notice the white and red car right there? All right, Willie, it's not too hot, but we're gonna leave the air on. Stay away, man. It's 75 degrees here in Arizona today, and it just said that my device overheated. Okay. Try this again. Yeah, so anyway, device overheated. I don't even know what I was talking about. Well, I was at the post office, and I have a ton of stuff to drop off. And the way I had it situated, I needed to go to FedEx first. So there's a good segue. Somebody posted or tweeted a picture of Tom Hanks next to one of the Rothschilds. And basically the tweet was questioning if Hanks is a Rothschild or connected to the Rothschilds. And I've talked about the movie Castaway quite a bit because Castaway is very symbolic of what happens to a targeted individual in their life. Some kind of tragedy happens, they miss their significant other, they're torn away from them, the loved ones in their life, they're basically stranded on an island, they can't get any help, contemplate suicide, they don't feel like they're ever going to get out of the situation they're in. I guess I have to clarify, that's not what I'm doing. I'm not contemplating that. It's very symbolic, and Tom Hanks plays a Federal Express employee in the movie. And when I saw that he might be linked to the Rothschilds, I thought, is it the Rothschilds? No. Who's the other family? Who's the other family that owns everything? You got the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. No, okay, it's Rothschild. Rockefeller. Good God, I can't remember which one now. The Waltons. Yeah, okay, I'm pretty sure it was Rockefeller now that I think about it. So I did a little research real quick, and it didn't take me long to realize that the Rockefellers have a vested interest in Federal Express, FedEx. They've got business connections. I think they own part of FedEx. They purchased a lot of land for FedEx facilities. Just a lot of connections. And of course, Tom Hanks made some really weird tweets when Isaac Happy was either connections there. Now Tom Hanks is playing Mr. Rogers in a new movie. But as a lot of you know that are targeted, FedEx has a lot to do with gang stalking. There's a FedEx truck coming into my neighborhood when I left the house. They know that's one of my stops. And I get treated terrible. Terrible. I don't want to say every time I go to FedEx, because the time before last they were really friendly. But I missed the exit I needed. But anyway, I get treated terrible every time I go into FedEx. They'll tell me, we can't ship that. Why? I'm like, that's not a shipping box. Random stuff like that. Then I take it to UPS, and UPS is super friendly and accepts the exact same packages that FedEx wouldn't. The guy shakes my hand and says, hey, have a nice day, thanks for coming in. Items show up in a couple days, I get confirmation. Just weird. So there's a lot of connections. Yeah, I did miss my exit. Oh well, I only missed it by one. Between all that. So check it out. Do some search on Bing. It's tough to search anything like that on Google. They get rid of a lot of that stuff. Bing seems to be a better search engine for if you're researching truth, deep state type stuff. You get more answers. A lot of the stuff has been scrubbed from Google. You'll get gaslit on Google. Yeah, if you haven't seen the movie Castaway, it's pretty symbolic. If you've been through this long term, if you've watched my videos and you've gone through very similar things, which a lot of you have said that you have, just watch that movie and see how it resonates with you. I mean, we know Hollywood by now. You listen to Tiffany Fitzhenry at all. Infiltrated by CIA. If somebody makes a movie that's got too much information in it, CIA comes in and says, hey, you can't have that part in your movie, you got to change it to this. How did I miss that exit? More and more of that is coming out. People in Hollywood that don't know what's going on are stepping forward. They're contacting truth YouTube channels, talking to the hosts of the channels. Saying, hey, back up what you guys are doing, what you're saying. We appreciate it. We're afraid to say anything. Ed Wolder is one of those. They've gotten letters. All right. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Okay. As much as I like President Trump, and I've been trusting the plan all this time, it leaves me with an uneasy feeling. And that's well, Trump and Attorney General Barr, besides the FISA report not coming out and also being told to hurry up and wait, they're going to implement something called pre-crime laws. That's basically if they think that a person is going to become violent, or if they have mental issues, they're mentally unstable, that they'll go ahead and just arrest that person and detain them without due process. And if anybody has been through this targeting program that started after 9/11, the Patriot Act, we know that all right, I'm losing. If you disagree with the mainstream narrative, they can put you on a government watch list. And it's all right, buddy. It's okay. It's okay. He's just got to sign. You just got to sign. You want to give this guy some change? What's up, buddy? It's okay. So you need some. It's okay, Willis. He thinks you're going to try to rob us. There you go, buddy. Hope that helps out. You're welcome. Hey, Willis, it's all right. It's okay. It's all right. He's not trying to get in. I just gave that guy a little bit of change. I shouldn't do that. I need to save my change, but... And he could be one of the people that they send out, that they work on your empathy, try to make you feel bad. They know you're broke. But who knows, maybe that'll help that guy eat tonight. So he's working his way down the traffic there with his sign. I thought it would say something like homeless veteran or something like that. Yeah, so somebody just commented, we need to act as a terrorist. And basically, to take total control and implement their totalitarian government. They use transference, and they're actually the terrorists that are trying to take over our country, taking payments from other countries, and pay off our publicly elected officials to implement weaponized systems used against our. Hey, UPS truck. Yeah, I know. I should have dropped my stuff off with you guys, but eBay doesn't offer. Just reminded me. Why do people keep asking me about my van? Let's just not talk about my vehicles right now. Oh, somebody, okay. I understand. I was talking about the, go ahead. The van last time I made a video, that's right. My apologies. The van was fine. It was out of gas. The needle was the needle wasn't past the little orange thing, so it didn't look like it was empty, but apparently it was empty. I don't remember it being empty when I parked it, but maybe my daughter did, whatever. But yeah, it was fine. Put some oil in it. Go ahead. So yeah, back to what I was saying about the elected officials being paid off to weaponize systems against our citizens. That's exactly what's been happening. And I'm really hoping that these indictments that we keep hearing about are for those people that circumvented the Constitution, destroyed our trust, lied to us, gaslit us. I really hope that those people get what they deserve. No parking. Imagine that. Somebody's got to be leaving here in a minute. No? Where are you going, lady? Told you guys this might be boring. Yeah, and hopefully that's, somebody just mentioned 9/11. What's up? Somebody just mentioned 9/11. Hopefully that is in this IG report as well. It's supposed to be as thick as a phone book. Their passports overtook the... Got a parking space. Alright. Let's see, I think I need to take this phone in here. I'll be... Yeah, a lot of buffering. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. I apologize. I pay my phone bill. It's like 130 something bucks a month for 2 phones. FedEx. USPS. All right, it looks like it's still buffering. Imagine that. So here's what I'm dropping off. I appreciate it. Hey, how you doing? So far, so good. These guys should bring them around now. If I can give the seats for these doors, shit.
Got the receipt printed up here for you. Was there anything else we're helping you with today?
That's it. That's it. Were you ever a catcher in baseball?
Was I ever a catcher?
Yeah,
No.
baseball. You didn't play baseball?
I played a little bit of baseball.
Oh, okay.
I was never a catcher.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. You're quite welcome.
All right. Did that pretty good. That's why I asked him if he was a catcher. It was real obvious. He looked her right in the eye. He looked her right in the eye and said, "So we're real rude, real friendly." So whatever it takes, right? So I just realized here they sound like the safety. All right, my channel is buffering. It keeps disconnecting. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, I know what the deal is, but so yeah, the pre-crime laws, red flag laws. It's kind of concerning. So I'm kind of in limbo of where I'm at, believing that all of this is going to happen, because that just kind of seems to go along with what we've been dealing with already. And to a lot of people that haven't been subjected to the type of targeting that happens, it almost sounds like you're complaining because you don't want to get in trouble for something you've been doing wrong. But that's not the point of these systems. They're presented to us, then yeah. But so far, doesn't seem to be what's going on. Ah, very good. This guy's license plate say MGR FMO. If you're new to my channel, you're wondering what I'm doing, driving around, just filming, talking about random stuff. Sometimes I do this just to document, just to talk about some random things. Show how the traffic is here in Phoenix, west side of Phoenix. Glendale, Tullison, Levine, Goodyear, Litchfield, all part of the west side. You get up a little bit north of here, it's Surprise, Youngtown, Sun City West. Luke Air Force Base is in Surprise. Let's see, somebody just said Flagstaff. Flagstaff is like, what's Flagstaff? An hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes from here. From my house, you go up the 101, get on the 17, past Sedona, and end up at Flagstaff. Flagstaff does not look anything like people picture Arizona to look like. Looks more like Northern California. A lot of trees, snow. Camping. Another town called Payson. People go up camping. I'm going 50 miles an hour. Says something about speeding. So nope, not doing that. So, buddy, we're not going to the DOG PARK right now. No, we're not going there. This isn't even the way. And there are more personalized license plates in Phoenix than I've ever seen in my life, more than in California. What's this one? 2II, none. Hey. No, it's alright. It's alright. You're allowed to drive. He's allowed to drive that car. I'm at a stoplight. I can check some of these out here. It says my whole system is buffering out of control. It's probably mine. Somebody else asked if I talked to Ella Free lately. I've never heard her called Ella Freedom. I haven't talked to her lately. Sent her a text message, I don't know, a few weeks ago, just about a business idea. And we text back and forth real quick about that. That's about it. Other good TI channels. Well, I still think that Ella Free has a good channel. She has a lot of people on there. Romola D. A lot of people have taken sides between those two. I don't do that. I listen to both of them. Both of them have good guests on their shows. I don't watch too many targeted individual interviews anymore. I feel like I've learned almost everything there is to learn about it. And there's really not much else I can do. I mean, I've learned through my own experience, but learned that other targeted individuals are going through the same thing, similar things, different types of targeting, but pretty much covered all of it. A lot of what I try to pay attention now is things in government, ways to stop this. I really don't know if it'll ever stop. Somebody said they watch them to remind themselves they're not alone. So the FISA court has admonished the FBI for illegally searching and surveilling 3.1 million American citizens without due process. So admonished basically is just a fancy word for reprimanding and telling them to stop, which that's not going to do anything. It was a real quick news blurb, in and out of the news. I saw like one article, and that's not good enough. But that is proof that the FBI illegally surveilled 3.1 million, searched and surveilled 3.1 million people. Now, they didn't mention anything about how many times they did this to each individual person. Because as you know, like right now, there could be easily someone in my house, which has happened. I've lost track how many times. Half the time when I go home, something is moved from a place that it wasn't when I put it, when I left. Items are stolen from my inventory, and then when that item sells in my shop, they'll leave a little note when they purchase it, snide little remark, letting me know, hey, yeah, we got this one, you're gonna have to return the money for that one. We know all of your items are organized perfectly, but we got this one. It usually correlates with some kind of information that I put out. It's like a response to something I've done, and then if I complain about it, it sounds like I'm being trivial because it's, you know, a small item in my eBay store. But that's how they do this. Small attacks, multiple attacks over a long period of time to antagonize you and instigate and aggravate you, to try to get you to give up, to break your will, to get you to be quiet, get you to be homeless, give you a bad image. A lot of things happen, and it's damn near impossible to prove, because if you have cameras in your house, you go home when they do it, the video footage is just blanked out. Like the time the probation officer came to my house with his buddy, I had to show him around my house. I don't even know if I had to, but I did. And he told me I couldn't record. I told him, yeah, I can. They said they were going to take me to court and let the judge tell me that. And I said, all right, well, let's go. And then they decided to go ahead and cancel that meeting. And the last time he came by my house, he wouldn't come in the house. I invited him in. He wouldn't come in. So, all right. I'm going to just leave this on. Again, sorry if it's boring. Today's one of those days. Got to do this. All right. So, should have taken my camera with me. But when I got to the front door, there's a gaggle of people. I'm having a tough time getting to the door because there's so many packages. Some lady's going, "It must be package day today. Everybody's got a lot of packages." Making commentary. And then, like I was just saying, when items are stolen from my house, they'll leave little notes to verify that, yeah, that one was one that was stolen. They'll do some other little things, like actually one of the ones that was missing yesterday should be super easy to find. Red hook and latch, we'll call it. I'm not supposed to use the word Velcro. It's copywritten. So, burgundy actually, with a little beige button, goldish button, and gold stripe around the bill. San Francisco 49ers hat. And that's a real easy section to find because it's there's not a lot of that color. It's got some real identifiable marks on it, and it would be in the football section. Red Velcro football, one row. And it sells, they leave a note that says, "Thank you so much, looking forward to getting this, happy Halloween." I go to find it, it's missing. There's like 15 hats that are missing right now, which is, you know, like $5 to $20 each, depending on which hat it is. So just add that up over and over and over again. Every time I look through them, there's stuff missing in spots that there's no reason they should be gone. They don't grow legs and get up and walk out. My daughter's not borrowing them and going to school with them. It's ridiculous. So I haven't talked about that in a while, but it happens. It keeps happening over and over and over. It has for a long time now. And I just deal with it. I don't know what to do about it. I have cameras inside of my house. I have a camera that literally points at the hat room. It's screwed to the wall. And you can't get past it by the stairs or if somebody came through a window. But when I check the footage, when stuff's missing, it's just blacked out on my security system. There's really nothing I can do. Other than hope that there are actual good guys and they're keeping an eye on my house and they're documenting what's going on, who's getting in. Nobody has permission to go in my house. And then when I experience all this stuff and I've researched the Stasi police and the psychological tactics they used on people during that and during World War II, to break apart families, to psychologically attack government dissidents. Yeah, here comes a bark. Got all kinds of people out in plain clothes running down the street today. This last question says, let's see, Finding Light says, why won't the good ones turn in the bad ones? Are they afraid of being targeted as a result of turning them in? Seems like it to me. If somebody's part of this program and they see what happens to targeted individuals, what they go through, and how their life's torn apart, they're already cowards for doing something like this. And they never stand up for what's right. So do you imagine they would stand up against this program that they know all what it entails and destroy their own life? I really can't see that happening. I mean, there's been a few whistleblowers, police officers. There was one guy from New York who got targeted. He's a cop. He was actually on the Ella Free show. And there was a police chief. The guy was a police officer for like 40 years, 35, 40 years. He was a chief in Texas and a chief in New Orleans. And he goes pretty in depth into the people that contacted him. He started investigating it. People showed up in black SUVs, explained to him that he doesn't need to speak to certain individuals ever again. It's none of his business. He needed to be careful. What's that guy's name? Is it Chief Jones? Chief Jones? I can't remember. If you go to Ella Free's channel, check out, just type in Ella Free and Chief. I think there's 2 different interviews, 3 maybe, and he goes into pretty good detail about what he observed as far as the targeting program. And he explained, he's one of the guys that talks about how the police force has transferred basically from peace officers to enforcement officers, and how police departments are being militarized, which Trump, I love him. I think he's got the right idea. He's doing a good job, but he's doing a couple things that are making me kind of nervous, like helping militarize our police departments. And they don't need to be a military force. That people aren't paying taxes to fund a military force that is an enforcement force. It's a slippery slope. It's not something that I'd like to see. What does the police department need an MRAP for? MRAP is a large military vehicle that's armored, that could withstand an IED, which our soldiers go to Iraq and Afghanistan and they don't even get MRAPs. They're driving around in Humvees without armor. I talked to a guy, a Gold Star dad, on Twitter the other day, and his son was staff sergeant in the Air Force. He was over in Iraq, and they got hit with an anti-tank ordnance, and it killed him and I think a couple Army troops and a Marine. I don't remember exactly all what branches and how many, but this guy's son was an Air Force staff sergeant, and they didn't have adequate shielding on their Humvee. The police departments are getting MRAPs, giant tank-like vehicles, and you know, for what? I know there. Okay, so there are some extreme situations where they need like the SWAT team. I wouldn't mind seeing the SWAT team having MRAPs because there are gangs, like there's some gangs in California. I think out in Sanger, California, they caught some guys with RPGs and grenades, gang members. These guys had like literally like rocket launchers, and they confiscated those. So, you know, in that case, they need something like that, but there's got to be some kind of line. There's got to be some kind of only the SWAT team, special force type of thing has that. What's up, buddy? There's the car sitting there with both of its doors open. Just sitting there, a car I've never seen before. Got a couple Chihuahuas running around the neighborhood. Told you this is going to be boring. This is basically just to document my drive. And of course it settles down when I turn this camera on. Excuse me. Big pile of mail. These guys make sure they shut their garage doors right as I get to the mailboxes. So the people that are new to my channel, if you're wondering about the neighborhood I live in, and if you're wondering, how does this guy live in such a big house? These Target, look at this neighborhood. It's like a bunch of millionaires live in this place. The housing bubble burst a while back. They overbuilt in Arizona. And there's a lot of big houses around here. It gets really hot in the summertime, and people basically don't leave their house in the summer. So houses are much less expensive. When I first moved into this neighborhood, I paid I started paying $1,200 a month rent for this house. It's 3,050 square feet, and a lot of these houses you can still buy for under $200,000. One of these houses, say in like Laguna Beach, would be $2 million, $3 million. Oh, here come the neighbor chihuahuas. Who's that dog? So it looks like this is a really affluent neighborhood, and it's really not. There's one guy down here that drives a Porsche. People down at the end drive Mercedes and BMWs. They seem to be like the main handlers in the neighborhood. Got cameras all the way around their house. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. What are those dogs doing? What's that guy doing? What are those guys doing? I know. They're coming to visit us. That dog has one eye. It's a pirate dog. What are these guys doing? What's up, guys? You guys come to visit us? Hey, what's up, guys? Come here. Say hi, Willis. What happened to your eye, man? You a pirate? Hey. It's been chihuahuas running around the neighborhood for like the last couple weeks. Whoa, you're friendly, huh? All right, well, I'm home. We're gonna check out here. Check this guy out. What's up, dude? What's up, little dude? You a pirate? Whoa, you're friendly, huh? What's going on? Did you lose your eye recently or what? Jeez, man. What happened there? What happened there? You sure friendly? You're not going to be able to stay. You only have one dog. See, look at how friendly Willis is. Good job, Willis. Good dog. You're a good dog. What's up, little buddy? Willis? No. It's all right. Huh, this guy just wants to come in. Imagine that. All right. Sorry for the boring video. Wow, there's 27 people here. You guys must be at work and or home. Whoa. All right, well, I documented what was going on today. Talked about everything I could think of. Got an important day tomorrow. I'll live stream before I do that. Talk about that. Keep the stream going. You're so bored. Yeah, I've got stuff to do. I apologize. I have to do these while I'm out doing stuff. And Vivian's paying bills and listening. Right on. Well, hey, sometimes you're doing something monotonous. I do the same thing. I check in and listen to live streams. Usually they're a little more planned out and to the point. A lot of times I do these. I want to document. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. Everybody have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.